snow dogs like a husky would be. But, I'm hoping that that's the issue. I'm trying to fix I think the YouTube feed should be good. But anyway, lots to talk about over the weekend. Tucker Carlson, is he a spy? Is he not a spy?
What's your take? Do you think he's a spy?
No, I don't think he's a spy. But do I think, look, let me just be honest. I don't have any reason to believe Tucker Carlson would be exchanging any pertinent military, knowledge to Iran or to Russia or to any of these other countries that, he's accused of. I mean, he's tangentially accused of in Iran's case. Do I think that he has I think it's a kind of a weird look that you're talking to people in Iran in the middle of a war with Iran. I know he's probably well, I'm just trying to get both sides. Ha 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 ha. But
such your Tucker Carlson laugh.
Yeah, well, it's half-hearted. The thing that's weird to me is that people on X are you're either Team Tucker or you're not. Or you're either Team Meg. I don't watch Tucker. I don't watch Candace Owens, so I don't give a shit. I don't feel emotionally attached to defending or Laura Loomer's going after him pretty hard. The penalty for being a traitor is a death penalty.
Well, and she got some criticism for her endorsement of India this weekend.
Tap your mic once just for fun. Yeah, it's not using that.
Okay, 1 second.
Go to the settings of inside of StreamYard.
Why are you doing this to me?
Well, you just, it's your first setup remote.
It's just
that should help.
How my life goes. You keep talking. I'll figure it out.
So, with chat, somebody said YouTube isn't up. I think it is up. I think. But weirdly, I don't know. Do I think that Tucker is a spy? No, probably not. Do I think that he makes some curious journalism decisions at curious times? Yes, I do. It's very, very weird. But it's is there anything inherently wrong with him interviewing Putin? I don't think so.
Well, people are really mad about that.
That sounds better, I think. Tap it.
Hooray.
Yep, there we go. Now we're using that. Wow. Much better.
Remote tech support. Look how good I am at this. Just kidding. It's taking 3,000 people for me to figure this out.
You mean how good I am at this?
You're not the only person who's giving me advice remotely right now.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, I'm I don't understand. It must work. No, the thing about Tucker interviewing Putin was well, first off, I'll never get over Putin's amazing story of I must take you back through history to answer any of your questions. There was something
just
iconic about that interview, and especially because a lot of people don't have a lot of exposure to Putin directly.
I thought it was interesting.
Right. Yeah. And I understand when people were but he went to the grocery stores and was they're amazing.
That was a little cringe.
Whatever.
We have good grocery stores here too. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Have you ever been to a Central Market? It's crazy.
Yeah.
But this he's a spy thing, there's been this current of Tucker Carlson is a bad guy for a little while now. And to me, it's the only people it hurts are conservatives, people who kind of MAGA or whatever. So it's just creating infighting. And I don't feel it makes me wonder if it's in good faith, right? Are you actually concerned? Do you actually think there's an issue? Or are you just trying to knock him out because you're seeking the attention of his audience? You want to capture them.
I think that's an interesting avenue, but I will go on the same street, but make a left-hand turn instead of a right and say that I also think that there are vested people on X in particular, because by the way, when you go on YouTube, people aren't that interested in this. People are probably it's Tucker. They're probably whatever. On X, it's all anyone's talking about. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of that is, I hate to be oh, it's bots. It can't always be bots. I understand that.
But in this case,
sometimes it's bots. And I do think a lot of this stuff is like probably getting propped up by the left. And they're like, great, let's, Laura Loomer and Tucker Carlson are fighting. This is good for the left. The Hodge twins turning into the Hodgie twins. This is good for the left. Right. And so I wonder, Nick Fuentes saying to vote Democrat. This is good for the left. So I wonder how much like authenticity there is in this infighting. Micro penis Megyn Kelly over the weekend. Like, I don't know anybody in real life who's ever
weird to me.
Very weird. And like,
and now Trump's weighing in on it. Like, she's attacking his like. I just wish we could just let these things stay on X, because when Trump talks about it, it like makes it more legitimate in a way, when it seems like it really does seem like it's sort of like competitor infighting more than not even political, just like people who are in the same sphere. And I agree with you. There's an influence of like, if you're a left-wing alternative, you want this infighting. You want them to all be calling each other, like saying they have micro penises and calling each other spies. Like, that doesn't hurt you. But it doesn't seem productive. And to a certain point, like, I find myself checking out of it because it doesn't.
That's how I am too. Like, I did a Tucker video and I put it on my second channel because I'm like, I don't really care. And Tim mentioned it in his video this morning, and I think Tim and I are on this 100% same page on this. Viewership is tough right now, especially if people are watching on other platforms that are more censorious. Like, there's no denying, I get myself in trouble, I don't want to name any names. But if you just look at kind of like the overall interest in the conservative sphere, it's down, and it has been down since probably January. And it's like, when there's not news to talk about, then there's infighting. And I think, and Tim said this too, and I agree, I think it's a dangerous path to go down for your career. Like, if you want to be like, I'm a Tucker Carlson supporter through and through, and this is what I'm going to spend my time on, okay. Or if I'm a Candace Owens supporter, and this is what I'm going to spend my time on, okay. Mm-hmm. But in 2 months, when things turn around, and they will, you're going to have destroyed your career. Like, you're just going to be, that's the danger in riding the wave. And it does seem more pronounced on X than anywhere else. Like, I don't see it on YouTube. Mark Dice didn't even make a video about the Tucker Carlson thing. Like, I think in general, I just don't give a shit. Like, I don't believe that Tucker Carlson is a traitor. Now, did you see the sub-conspiracy theory, which is even more funny, that the White House used Tucker Carlson to pass bad information on to Iran? That feels a little Trump's doing fifth dimensional chess thing.
A little too much credit to the
It's a little copy. Yeah. I don't think Tucker Carlson has anything valuable to pass to Iran. Do I believe he talked to people there? Yeah, because he said he did. Who are those people? Were you talking to a Khamenei or whatever? Were you talking to their supreme leader? Because that is a problem.
Right.
Were you,
or are you talking to like someone who used to aid America, be a translator for the American military?
Right. Or like, somebody on the ground or whatever.
Like, who you could have talked to. Yeah. I agree with you. There is sometimes they'll be like, well, actually, it's the Trump administration thinking 27 steps ahead. And I'm sort of like, it's the same as when everyone's like, and it's actually all conspiracy. The elites. Like, if you can't, if it seems a little too perfect to solve all your problems, like, makes me a little bit question it a little bit.
I'm a little tired. Speaking of fatigue, I'm a little fatigued on the elites too. I'm also fatigued on the Israel stuff. Like, okay, you want to point at something specific that Israel did. There are many things, that you can talk about. Oh, the Israeli government's, too involved here or whatever. You want to talk about that? I'll listen. But when it's literally your entire platform for everything that ever goes wrong in America, you lose people in the center like me, where I'm like, oh my God, okay, I stubbed my toe. Israel. Like, it gets to the point where it's like, do I think that America is too involved? Too like, that relationship is a little weird to me. Yeah. Hell yeah. But do I think that like the Hodge twins Israel posting is adding anything other than like noise and bot traffic. I don't. I mean, even the Hodge twins, by the way, just so people know, when they see this clip, this is my opinion, not Hannah Claire's. They famously post pro-Trump shit on Facebook and anti-Trump stuff on X. Like, there are dozens of examples. And they'll be like, oh, guys, sorry, we have an intern that manages our Facebook page. I'm like, no, you don't. You
Every
know
company
that.
ever blames the intern, you know?
Yeah. I'm like,
But
no,
it
you don't.
doesn't
You have
remind
mega
me-
fans on Facebook and you have Israel fans on X, and you're just playing both sides, and it's disgusting.
Well, it reminds me of what you're saying. Like, you know, maybe someone is like ideologically, morally, you know, supportive of Megyn Kelly or Candace Owens or Carlson, and they are going to post exclusively only about that. That's what they want to talk about. They feel like this is like their calling.
Yeah, their fan base,
you know,
or whatever. Yeah.
Fine. Like, if that you're saying it'll ruin your career, I think ultimately you'll just see a dip in viewership. Like, it's hard to make that. And in this case, I think there are a lot of, you know, I don't know if I can speak specifically about Hodge twins, although I've seen the pictures you've talked about, what people put it side by side. But I think generally there are a lot of people who are like riding the wave of the headlines. And it's one of the challenges, I think, especially when you're trying to have like marketable viewership. You have, you know, the headlines only get you so far, especially if you're going to change to whatever current major opinion is, especially if you're going to change opinions via platform. It's not really sustainable. It also, I think, inhibits you as a creator because you're constantly trying to figure out what everyone else thinks and you can't speak authentically about anything.
Yeah, I do think a lot of it is there's not like this unifying, you know, for years we fought woke, right? Whether it was my channel, it was like woke media or woke whatever, you know, this and other thing. Well, there's not really that fight anymore. I mean, it's still something that happens and it's worth talking about, but it's like nobody wants a 20th video about how, you know, men and women's sports is bad. So people have moved kind of to this. And again, I'm not saying anything that like the Hodge twin says or Candace or Tucker. I'm not saying anything they're saying is inherently wrong. They're just on this beat. And I think this beat is astroturfed. I think I really do. I've said this a million times before. Nobody at bowling is talking about Mark Levin's penis. Nobody at bowling is talking about, you know, Tucker Carlson and being a CIA this or that or anything. Like, it's exclusively on X. And I shouldn't say that. There are streams that are, you know, like those same people will do a stream about that, and it's very insulated. Down the road, for example, with content, the ICE stuff and the Somalia stuff, these were really big stories, but they've kind of moved on now. And so what's left is, I guess, for one side, I don't know if there are people on the right. I guess neocons probably don't like Tucker Carlson, and they're the ones that are saying he's a spy. And then there's a portion of the dissident right that I think also what this comes from is a lot of the right's most prominent voices turned out to be grifters. Like, people forget, like, people are like, well, Candace Owens, I said, she's one of the loudest voices on the right, and she's very clearly not right wing. And some people have been talking about that for years, me, but she still rose to be one of the loudest, you know, most influential people on the right. Hodge twins, same thing. You know, they used to go by the conservative twins. Now they go by the Hodge twins. They grew up very, very popular and they have huge audiences, and that can't be taken away from them. But were they really being authentic the whole time? You know, and now that content, like woke media bad, this has all that's gone away. Now you have infighting, or, you know, even like people don't even really talk about the Iran war. They're not even really talking about that. They're talking about the Iran war because it's a tangential way to talk about Israel. They don't really talk about, you know, their latest Ayatollah is gay, apparently. I think is hilarious.
That story day. I didn't know if we were saving it for Sweet Sweet Melanie. I mean, there are interesting things coming out about Iran, but you're right. There is a level of like, they're actually just using it to talk about the same criticisms everyone has. And I'm actually totally fine if you want to criticize Israel. Like, I don't think America's relationship with it is good. All kinds of other things.
Right.
But there's the question to me of like, what is the long-term goal? And you and I talked about this. I mean, we talked about it last week. Like, neither one of us are warfare experts. So we can talk to you about what's going on in Iran. We can talk about the service members who died over the weekend. Like, we can talk about those things, but I'm not comfortable making any predictions about how things are going to go. It's not my wheelhouse. But I do think that there are other aspects. And again, this could be the combination of like chasing the headlines, chasing the viewership versus, reporting on what's happening. If you're chasing the viewership, you want to seem like you're ahead, or a secret, or you've got this information, or you're willing to say the big bold thing. And I think that is a compass that can kind of cloud your vision in terms of what you're doing. So when people are fighting on X, to me, again, it's always like, but how much of this is engagement? Like, they used to say all press is good press because they're talking about you. And now it's like, well, even the hate clicks, even people who are clicking to comment to argue with you or tell you you're dumb, like, that's engagement, and X pays you for that.
If I put out a tweet today that was like, I've finally seen the light. Israel's behind everything, and America must abolish his relationship with them, it would get 50,000 likes. Mm-hmm. And someone in chat said that I'm not right. I'm a rhino. Again, there's this gravitational pull. First of all, I've never called myself a conservative ever. I'm a Trump voter, and anybody who's watched me for any amount of time knows that. But there's also this gravitational pull where everyone's like I had somebody this weekend be like, you're pro-war. I'm like, what? When did I ever say that? Rex Jones said that, Alex's kid. I was like, what are you talking about? Where did I say I was pro-war? Well, you laughed, you made a funny, you tweeted that the market didn't crash, but it was supposed to crash. I'm like, yeah, I was making fun of doomers. He's like, oh, well, okay, I guess. It's like, I'm not pro-war. I wish we weren't firing missiles into Iran. I'm absolutely 100% against this war. But if you're not spurging out about it on Twitter every day and, calling for Trump to be removed from office and this and the other, it's like you get lumped in with everybody, who is, you're either with them or against them. And it's like, I put out a tweet, I was like, I got no issue with Tucker Carlson. I don't think he's a spy. Maybe Laura Loomer shouldn't be, insinuating he should get the death penalty or something like that. And people are like, why aren't you backing Tucker? Why aren't you backing? I'm like, I'm not one of these bots that is like, oh, content creators, the absolute truth. It's not.
Well, and Laura and Tucker's beef extends way before
long time. Yeah.
Like, this is just the latest iteration. And, I don't have a dog in that fight. I really don't feel any need to be involved in it. But what you're saying is interesting to me because it ultimately reminds me of sort of like how detached actually a lot of Americans are from the internet. That there are all of these political aspects that are happening in like alternative media or like in mainstream media. And there are so many people who don't care or know. Like, people know the term rhino, but what at this point in time, what defines being a rhino? Because it's right. Name only, right? So, if
you know what it means, then you would never, and you watch my content, you would never call me a rhino.
Well, it's just like
I've never called myself a Republican.
To me, it's just like the latest evolution of the great like slur. If you can call someone racist, then for a while that was like really debilitating for them. But now, it doesn't have the same sting because it just got overused. I think similarly, maybe with rhino, like, I don't know that people can define rhino as specifically as maybe once they could, especially because the MAGA movement, while Republican, is not traditional in a lot of Republican senses, or it's at least it's changed a lot of the policies that were kind of standard for a Republican, elected official, the big one being immigration, and that's evolved over time for both parties. But if someone calls you a rhino, does it matter? And I say that being, I've been a registered Republican my whole life because I grew up in a state where we had closed primaries. So I had to select a party. Republican had enough of like what I believed in, but I never thought of myself as like a card carrying Republican. That used to be something. People used to be like, I'm a proud member of my political party.
Yeah, in the 70s.
Right.
You know what I
mean?
Like
the 80s, right?
Yeah.
But like, I've always thought of myself as conservative because just instinctively, that's how I fall in line. And I wonder if we does the term rhino have the sting that it should or could? Like, it just makes me wonder, like, what is the objective here? Because if someone's like, well, I'm not a rhino, you are, and I'm MAGA, and like, there's always words. But as we evolve with politics, like, even MAGA is going to mean something different next election cycle because Donald Trump won't be running.
Yeah. And that's And I think if JD Vance decides to run, he should probably not run as MAGA. He should come up with something new. Like,
well, he should. I mean, even Trump tried to run as like what CAG last time, like Keep America Great.
yeah.
Which he had to bring it back because it's like part of the branding. But like, number one, you don't want to be like you are trying to be Donald Trump 2.0 because that's too big of a mantle to carry. And also, it will become an increasingly ambiguous term as time moves on. So you would rather be the lead of your own branding, I would assume.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. Remember Nathan Brindley too.
Oh, hey.
That's the thing. Like, MAGA it no longer means what it used to mean, but I am convinced that that's just because there were a bunch of interlopers into the movement. And this may be an unpopular take, but I'm pretty sure I could probably find the Hodge twins wearing a lot of MAGA hats and MAGA merch. I could find a lot of these these fly-by-night influencers that used to wear MAGA, and now they spend all day spurging out against MAGA because that's what's popular. And it's like, okay, so you just were never like, I was never MAGA either. I voted for Trump. I have a couple Make America Great Again hats, but I'm like, I never went around, I was like, I'm MAGA. But a lot of this is that MAGA is going away. And so people who branded themselves as that have to find this new identity online because they never really had an identity before. Like there's
some people I think didn't know how to express their political opinions, right? Like you and I are both saying like, we have voted Republican, I don't know how many times you have, but like I voted Republican
3
but
times
I don't know
in a
that
row.
I was like, I don't know that I have like stamped it on my forehead like I am a Republican. I'm not against the term. It's just like, I don't know.
If the Republican,
so hard. What I think was powerful about Trump's MAGA movement was that there were people who were like, I don't feel like the establishment Republicans represent me, and I think Trump does. And being MAGA helped them feel like they were being represented. And I think also because it's such a simple call to action that it is something that like you can apply in your daily life. Like make America great again. Okay, what made America great? Having strong family values, having a secure society, having a shared cultural norm that we were able to fall back on. Like there are things that we appreciated. And like, I just listed 3, someone in chat might be like, oh, that's not how I define MAGA at all. There is always ambiguity, but also your interpretation of like, how do I make the country great again can include electing Trump if that's what you feel, but also like, getting more involved in your community or growing your own vegetables. Like there are lots of ways to apply that. And that's why I think the slogan was more than just like, oh yeah, catchy political slogan. It also became how people identified themselves.
Well, and this is where Melanie Mack was right all along. She said the big tent was a mistake. Looking back at it, I won't call it a mistake because it got Trump elected. And I still think that Trump is far better than any alternative we could have had. Even if I'm upset with him in the current 2-week, news cycle, I was very happy with him 2 weeks before that. So I'm hoping that again in 2 weeks, it goes back. McCluskey's Razor Fist has said this many times. The Dems play to divide the right. They face extinction, and there are too many Republicans actually wanting to get rid of MAGA to get back to business as usual. Yeah, that's probably true. Trump was briefed on Iran's new Supreme Leader, Mujtaba Khamenei is probably gay. What was Trump's reaction? Let's see. They said his reaction was hilarious. I'm trying to see his reaction.
For those of you guys who don't know, from what I know about this, there's intel that says that the new Ayatollah has had a like decades long affair with his tutor, who was a man, and also has like apparently been very sexually aggressive because he's injured to the men around him. Now that could be like, I don't know. Some people are like, well, it's medication. I don't know. Very bizarre to me. But obviously it's not an LGBTQ friendly place. So if your new
never
Ayatollah
has
is
been.
gay,
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. I guess I can't find it. The fact that it was elevated to the highest level. I mean, who cares? I mean, he probably won't be. He's probably not even alive.
I mean, there were some reports over the weekend, right, that he's like in a coma.
First he was injured, then he's in a coma. Nobody's seen him. He's probably in Russia. Oh, others in the room. Trump couldn't contain his surprise and laughed out loud when he was briefed on the intel. Others in the room also found it hilarious and joined the president's reaction. Yeah, I'd probably laugh too, especially because it's in Iran. Like, it's being gay in Iran is illegal, punishable by death. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty funny to me,
You think
but
Iran's going to celebrate it? I mean, I guess he's not openly gay. That's the problem. Otherwise,
yeah,
they'd be
I
like,
mean,
we're more progressive than the West? Question
yeah,
mark.
yeah, maybe they would. I don't know. There's also this interesting thing to sort of wrap up like the influencer wars. Take it from somebody who's been creating content for 15 years. This too shall pass. You're going to see, unless Trump just continues to like do things that in general people aren't really enthused about, everything becomes life or death when your life depends on clicks. And this idea of like Candace Owens being like, if they get Tucker, we ride at dawn. Girl, from where? From your $200 million mansion, you're going to get your musket and ride on the Capitol in America? She's probably not even in America. She's probably in the UK. Like, that shit is cringe. Like, hey, we don't like this thing with Iran. Please get it over with quickly. I wish you didn't start it at all. But now that we're there, I don't see a lot of value in being like continuing to say, I'm unhappy about it, because it's not the reality we live in. It's like that guy at the bar who's been remarried and is still bitching about his ex-wife. It's like, turn the page. You can't really change, what the past is. Like, yeah, I wish we wouldn't have gotten involved in this stuff, but we are. And so am I going to spend all day, every day complaining about it? No. I mean, I'm going to hope that we get out of it quickly. 1 year, minimum 1 year, mark this post. 1 year, I mean, it's possible. It depends how far they want to go, right? Unfortunately, I would say at this point, you're going to have some U.S. involvement there, at least with, I mean, it's undeniable that they're going to do regime change and stuff like that, and like, it probably won't be over quickly, anymore.
It's funny
anyway.
watching, all of the secretaries or Trump administration officials get asked this question directly on mainstream media, because they like obviously don't want to have a clip that comes
Right.
up like a year from now when they're like, it would be out in 10 days. So they're like very much like, well, like it seems like possibly we're probably going to be able to do, like they're very much trying to.
That doesn't stop Trump. Trump's like, they're ready. The war's over. They're ready to surrender. I'm like,
No. But that's because
I heard a lot of that about the Ukraine war, and that's still going on.
No. Well, and
Nobody
then
talks about
There's
that.
a report today that Zelensky's like, oh, yes, we are prepared to begin negotiating again. Like, Zelensky must be really bitter because he used to be the star of the show. And he's like, this is the second war that has replaced his country's blight. He's
also probably upset that, when their war is over, he will no longer be president. I mean, this is what, there's no amount of dead Ukrainians that Zelensky would probably decide that is too many if it meant he could no longer be the president. And quietly, I'd be willing to bet you we're sending money to Ukraine again. Like, it's just not making the headlines.
What do you mean again?
That's what I mean. You're right. We probably never stop.
Bleed money.
Yeah. So what do you make of this? So Kristi Noem has been referred for criminal investigation now for lying under oath about her $220 million vanity scheme. I'm not sure what the charge would be. Probably similar like what Steve Bannon. No, but Steve Bannon got arrested for not showing. I don't know what.
Like misuse of funds or something?
Well, maybe. They say it's for lying under oath. But I would say that misuse of funds is reasonable. I think she should go to trial for this. Or there should be a punishment for this, because if you see those commercials, like, come on, she was like trying to set herself up for a presidential run or something.
For sure.
It was ridiculous. And 220 million taxpayer dollars. And we just can't be like the left. Like, Kamala Harris pisses away $1 billion. Oh, well. No. Like, this shit is crazy. Like, Kamala Harris spent all that donor money to put on concerts for herself. It wasn't to help her get any more votes. And I don't know, like, she's probably not going to get in trouble for, she'll get charged with perjury probably. I don't know what that means. Like, she's not going to prison, but like, she did perjure herself, and she did, completely unrelated. Is Yardstream sending 44.1 or 48 audio/video over time? I don't know. I'll have to check. I could actually maybe tell you right now. Audio is sending at I don't know, actually. It's not a setting I can set, it looks like. It just has audio and yeah, I can't actually. So you might have to Google that. I mean, this Chrissy Noem thing is embarrassing. It's a
The
stain.
thing about Christy Noem is like, number one, it is interesting to me that Trump was so, it seemed like pretty prepared to remove her because
Yeah.
obviously he's like known as the like you're fired guy, right?
Mhm.
So the thing is, you can't spend $220 million in the administration that also had Doge. Like
Right.
this is a bad look, and it seems to go against sort of the overarching morals of the Trump administration, which is we do not waste, taxpayer funds. And probably everyone in the comments is like, but we're at war with Iran, and I'm with you. I agree with you. Like that's not what I would like to be spending our money on. But in this case, the fact that she was caught lying, it's undeniable. And then it's such a like documented, there's no way to scrub her vanity ad. And then again, like it wasn't to me, I know we talked about this today that the news broke, but I think that she has been in hot water because of, the way she handled the shootings in Minneapolis and just generally there has been a lot of like, it's about Kristi Noem. It doesn't seem to be about this thing. And if
her photo shoots.
Right. And if Trump was, number one, going to be the peace president, not starting wars or ending wars, which that was like a big part of his campaign, and also the first at least year of his presidency, and also be the anti-illegal immigration president, then like this cannot continue. You can't be the Homeland Security secretary who seems to just be moving in the opposite direction. So, it's hard to say like if she will definitely for sure face charges. I mean, I think that sometimes you see these criminal investigations into famous people and they don't go anywhere. On the other hand, like maybe she doesn't have any allies left to go easy on her. And like you said, we have to be the same. Like if we want the Democrats to be held accountable, we have to hold our own accountable too.
By the way, huge shout out to this video sponsor, Rumble Wallet. You may have, well, let me put the QR code up. I don't want to mess that up. You may have been seeing the conversations online happening right now. Censorship is back. It's happening everywhere. Platforms are controlling narratives and pushing the stuff they want us to see, and we need to fight back. Rumble is the only company that has stood the test of time and deserves our support. On one side, Rumble is challenging big tech censorship, but now on the other side, they have introduced something that will give us protection from big banks shutting us off. Banks can cancel our accounts and freeze our cards. That's why they launched Rumble Wallet, a wallet that no one can cancel and a wallet that supporters can use to instantly tip creators like us without any middlemen taking cuts. With Rumble Wallet, you control your money, not a bank, not a government, not a tech company, not even Rumble can touch it. It's yours and only yours to protect your future and your family. You can use it to buy digital assets like Bitcoin, Tether Gold, and now the USAT, Tether's US regulated stablecoin in one place. Tether Gold is real gold on the blockchain with physical ownership of gold bars. USAT keeps your money steady against inflation, no banks needed. It's not only a wallet to buy and save, but allows you to support your favorite creators by easily tipping them with the click of a button. There'll be no fee when you tip our channel or anything else. We actually receive the money instantly, unlike other platforms where we have to wait for payouts. Support our show and other creators by clicking the tip button on my Rumble channel. It's wallet.rumble.com, or download Rumble Wallet today, open an account, and step away from the big banks for good. Wallet.rumble.com, or search Rumble Wallet in the app stores. Now, the Oscars were yesterday.
Did you judge?
I did not watch, but I did see some hot takes, and most of it, I mean, I think in terms of general Oscars buzz and Oscars fallout, pretty quiet. I didn't really see anything. There was, Jimmy Kimmel being like, America's crazy right now. Okay. Yeah, that's actually a factual statement.
Jimmy Kimmel jealous of Melania.
Oh, I know he was butthurt about that, right? Like, I'm trying to see if we have any Oscars viewership numbers, but those usually don't come out till the later in the day. But I think that really we're going to see it. We're really going to see it this year probably go down. I mean, last year they had 19.69 million, which is a 1% improvement over the previous year, but still down over 50% from like 10 years ago. And, I think you see the viewership this year is going to easily be the lowest in a decade so far. The hype This year is pretty much not there. You know, at
I'm
one
not even
time they
seeing,
drew
like-
57 million. At what time?
Right.
At one time.
I'm not even really seeing any like social media engagement with it. Like usually,
No.
you know, the first 12 hours, 24 hours after the Oscars, I at least see some like fashion creators being like, here are the best and worst, or here are some thoughts. Like
Yeah.
it's, you know, we're streaming at, you know, after 2:00 Eastern. By now I should have seen some like, oh, did you see this? And the only one I've seen is like Jeff Bezos and his lady, Lauren
saw that,
Sanchez,
yeah. Where
standing
she's
there
like,
and her
"Get
like
away."
being jealous of Kate Winslet.
Yeah.
Like that's it. I like normally there's at least some sort of like, because just like we have, you know, political entertainment, this side of content creation, the fashion, we follow celebrity side, like it just doesn't seem to be engaging with it. And if that's how they make their money, that should tell you their audience is not engaged with it either, which is like just dooms the Oscars in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, in 2015, just 10 years ago, they had 36.6 million. Last year they had 19.7. I bet you it's going to be closer to 18. They're going to be like, but also with billions of clip views online. They'll like say shit like that.
Allegedly.
But yeah, like they're just going to be like, I don't even, I mean, I know our viewership probably isn't like big Oscar party people. You know, they're not having their Oscars parties. But I mean, I think again, people just don't care anymore. Like, yeah, there were a couple of like, you know, free Palestine or whatever, but like,
even
nobody
those are
gave a shit.
performative, right? Like there's
Of course,
this,
yeah.
like it's all kind of, I think people are so burned out and numb to it. Like it doesn't seem interesting. It doesn't seem nuanced. It doesn't seem new. It's not shocking. Like it's just kind of what you expect at this point. And so why even watch?
Yeah, they didn't. I mean, they didn't have anything new to say. I mean, free Palestine. I mean, that's passe. They can't criticize the war in Iran because, well,
They don't know how to come down on that one.
well, everyone's gonna. I mean, everybody in Hollywood is Jewish, so
Well, it's
they
like,
can't
and
say
the young
anything
people
about that.
who are pro Palestine, like Iran, doesn't Iran fund Hamas?
Yes.
So if you're like pro Palestine, you can't be critical of Iran. I'm not saying that for me, but I have watched.
Yeah.
I've watched liberal progressives like debate this amongst themselves online because they don't know how to answer this question. Even if they're willing to be critical of Israel, like they don't want to be pro Iran, but also Iran helps the thing they actually are interested in. It's an interesting web they have woven for themselves.
Right. Well, just like the same like LGBTQ rights people being free Palestine people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, wait a minute, don't you know they throw gays off roofs there? Here's so Jerry O'Connell, who I thought was always just like a pretty down the road guy, had this exchange with Bill Maher on Friday, and it just was so sad. Here you can just watch the life like bleed from his eyes.
I went to a Kamala Harris rally. My wife and I donated to the campaign. Oof.
Thank Bill Maher.
That investment.
Yeah.
And Megan Thee Stallion played. And that was pretty fucking epic, Bill, if you were there.
No, it wasn't. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody gave a shit. Poor Jerry O'Connell.
I mean, it really invigorated like excitement, you
And
know?
really invigorated the people who are already going to vote for her anyway. That's who invigorated.
It's just like,
Awkward.
shit. I just bought this brand new Iron Maiden t-shirt from
Why is he like trying to like go back and rewrite history, like to make it seem like it was a good time?
it's so sad.
There is no correct, Bill. There is no correct.
There is no correct. No, he is correct.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you can jerk each other off all day long. Kamala Harris lost all 7 swing states. I mean, she went 0 for 7 where the election was. I mean, that's not, you have to almost try to fuck up that badly. You know, as I've said many times, they lost a crazy contest against a crazy person. So
I think he thought that he was like going to have a great. Well, I have this other clip too from the same interview that's like also sad.
It's weird that he's like, if you wanted to make a Stallion concert, sir, you didn't have to donate to Kamala. You could just like pay for tickets. You clearly have the money.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. He's. By the way, this is Jerry's wife. Oh, damn. Okay, shout out Jerry O'Connell. I mean, she's good looking. Maybe she's batshit crazy. I don't know who that is. Here, yeah, look at this.
you want to know why people vote for Trump? That's why. Your shitty attitude is a real turnoff.
So I'm going to tell you about a bit of.
Like right to his face. Like he's just like.
Are they friends or is this like how
I
well do these
don't
people know each
know.
other?
Yeah.
I say this. Will I stay married? Blow it over here. My.
Oh, okay. Wait. So his wife. He's probably okay. He's about to admit that his wife made him do it.
Sounds like you're going to blow it over here.
The night of the election. This third one.
Yeah.
By the way, there's no crossover between Iron Maiden and Megan Thee Stallion in listenership. So he's either a fake Iron Maiden fan, a fake Megan Thee Stallion fan, or just a double fake.
You're like telling him to name 3 songs for each artist, which I respect.
Please.
Third election. Everyone knows what I'm talking about here.
What?
Yeah.
I was watching late at night the returns, and I'll be honest with you, I didn't think Trump was going to win. I live in California. I didn't think he was going to win.
Of course you didn't.
From what I was hearing.
I didn't either.
I think he was going to win.
Megan Thee Stallion.
This is where I live, you know?
Yeah.
I was sure he would win. Like, even during our election coverage, I was like, come on, I got to pop the bottle. And you're like, no, it's not time yet.
Well, I mean, part of it was like they fielded Kamala. Like it was rough out there.
Yeah.
I said something along the lines of like, there was no planning. This is what they get.
So he said the truth. So he said the truth.
This is what they get. So I thought you liked
Should've been
the concert. I thought
it was pretty fucking epic. Yeah.
Primary. I said something along those lines, you know, like I was just spitballing ideas as to, it was a shock, you know?
No, it doesn't sound like it was a shock. It actually sounds like he knew exactly why they lost. Like, I think he knows exactly. Well, his wife played Mystique in the old X-Men movie. Okay, so his wife is super hot. Yeah, all right.
My wife and daughters,
My wife.
without saying anything, became
Don't say it.
physical with me.
Don't say it, Jerry. No. No.
So now we know why you're like trying to like, defend Kamala Harris's weird concert that wasn't good and this whole thing. Like you're actually just scared of the women in your life.
Yeah, the women in your life beat you for saying the truth.
They were
He doesn't want to say crazy.
Yeah.
But he wants to say
He
crazy.
wants to say crazy so bad. Yeah.
If I am being careful with you in how I say things, yes,
'Cause
I
I'm
live
scared
in
of my wife
California.
and
I live
daughter.
with
Yeah.
I live
not
with-
one, not two, but 3 people who,
Have TDS.
if I made any kind of
Yeah.
joke,
He's probably either apolitical. He's mostly apolitical, I bet. But it's like his wife and daughters are like, they have TDS, so he's got
Well,
to
and
be
he's
like,
not
I
even
care.
saying like, I was dancing around the living room being like, hurrah, Trump won. And they freaked
Yeah.
out. Saying like the Democrats didn't do a good job and they freaked out. Like this sounds like this household has been out of control for a long time.
Ladies out there, somebody save him.
Right.
Somebody save him, ladies.
they would, they become very angry with me,
Well,
So
I don't want to tell you how to live your life, but I couldn't live that way.
Bill, he's not wrong. He's not wrong. Like, could you imagine, like, if your spouse like beat you over an election? That would just.
Well,
I mean, there's no way.
They're talking about politics, but like these women probably scream him down all the time.
Yes.
That's the thing. Like
He's
he knows
totally
better than to express any opinion other than what the girls want him to say. Which like there's no authentic like bond or emotional connection if the one person in the household is like walking on eggshells all the time.
This interview has definitely got him in a lot of trouble because it paints his wife as a political tyrant. Now,
And his daughters as like spoiled brats. Like
yeah, right.
How old are they where they're like hitting their dad because he said the DNC didn't do a good job? Like that's nuts.
I would, whatever household or whatever situation I'm in, I say what I truly think. And if it makes you angry, I'm sorry. We'll have to work that out.
well, it makes.
But I am not going to tuck my tail between my legs and just shut the fuck up.
Oof. Like, poor
Roasted.
Jerry. White liberal women are the most insufferable species in existence. That's from Tommy Lahren. Yeah, I mean, this is, yeah. I can see Tay-Tay catching a stray there. Have a seat, Jerry, in the cuck chair. I mean, this guy was probably like, I'm guessing, I know guys like him. he probably doesn't give a shit about politics. The fact of the matter is, most people don't. In the 3.5 years that aren't election years cycles, 75% of people don't care about politics.
Mm-hmm.
For that election run up, maybe it gets to 50 or 60, but it still doesn't get higher than that. You want to know how I know that? Voter turnout. If 80 or 90% of people actually gave a shit, we would have 400 million votes every year.
Right.
But we don't. Trump set the all-time record 2 out of 3 years, and Biden set the other record because of Trump. Like this, I promise you, this next election won't have anywhere near the total turnout that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump had. It just won't. Like people want to pretend, a lot of us spend a lot of times in politics and stuff like that, but like, dude, people don't give a shit. Like they don't. They're trying to pay their bills. They're worried about gas being through $3.50 a gallon now. It's the same thing with the liberals that suddenly care about gas prices. I'm like, you fucks didn't say anything about gas for 4 years under Joe Biden when it was way more expensive. But now you're
suddenly they cared about eggs and gas. They were all about it.
Now you're about eggs and gas. Yeah, it's like you people, you pander to the worst type of humans.
Well, I feel like Jerry O'Connell, I don't know how interested in politics he is, but it definitely seems like what he's describing is actually interfamilial issues.
He has an abusive relationship.
Right. And even in this, like someone who's super argumentative isn't good with conflict, but also someone who can't defend themselves or at least like be like, well, this is what I believe. I'm going to stand by it. Like they are also about his conflict. And in every part of this interview, like he is like proving that, I don't want to say he's a pushover, but he's definitely scared of any kind of like, not being whatever the majority thinks. And in his household, probably they're all feminist identifying women. So he's like, well, I've got to be really careful so I don't upset them. And then Bill Maher is like, I could never be treated the way you're being treated. And he's like, oh no.
Yeah. All right. Now I really did it. Yeah. Cause like they're going to be, do you see what people are saying about me online? They're calling me a bitch. But like whatever happened to just saying like, I don't give a shit about politics. Most of my friends don't give a shit about politics. Like even on election night or the day after election, like, oh, what do you think about the election? So anyway, like that's the normal American person. We can argue whether that's good or not, but like these Hollywood actors feel like, oh, I have to have a political take. No, you don't. You just don't.
You really don't. In fact, I would like you better if you kept it to yourself or like have one cause that you are very devoted to. And you can't Leonardo DiCaprio this when you're like, I love the environment and then take private jet places. Like you gotta live your values, And to that end, I think we say talk politics, but actually we are talking like gossip, right? Like you're so obsessed with celebrities and who cares who's dating. But then you want to be like, well, this person's fighting with this person, and these two are like there is a version of gossip that's just like knowing the names of politics. It'd be different if we were talking like policy where we're like, hey, there's this bill and here's what's in it. And then maybe you're like, and these senators are lined up behind it and these ones aren't. But like generally, everyone is just kind of interested in politics for the gossip, I think.
Yes. Yeah, you're
for
right.
better or for worse. And I think that applies to liberal women who are like, but the girl I like the best needs to become the president because
did you
she's
hear
just so correct.
They're rounding up families and throwing them in catapults and firing them over the border. Really? Oh my.
I'm as outraged as you are. In fact, I'm more outraged because I'm morally higher than you are.
Yeah. Did you see? I'm ordering this bumper sticker right now. I have to give a quick shout out to Venice AI, and then we've got another more segments coming. To this video sponsor, Venice AI. Look, Sam Altman recently announced that ChatGPT can now reference all of your past conversations. Do you feel comfortable knowing that an AI platform has access to all of your thoughts, dreams, sensitive questions, business ideas, etc.? What are they even doing with it? All sorts of crazy stuff is going on. I mean, Alexa listens to us and recommends products based on our conversations. Meta retargets us based on our browsing and engagement history. Why do we assume that AI is going to be any different at all? That's why I always use Venice.ai. Venice.ai lets you use AI without handing over your sensitive information. Venice AI has an open source AI model. It utilizes leading open source AI models to deliver text, code, and image generation to your web browser. There are no downloads, no installation, nothing. It also has insane privacy and it's permissionless. They don't spy on you or censor the AI. Messages are encrypted, so your conversation history is only stored in your browser. AI can be extremely valuable, but we shouldn't need to give up our privacy to use it. The Venice Pro plan unlocks the full platform and features, including PDF uploads for summaries or insights, the ability to turn off safe mode for unhindered image generation, the ability to change how Venice interacts with you by modifying the system prompt, limitless text, and high image limits. You can use Venice AI for a whole bunch of different things. You can actually go down here. You can choose between text. You can have it do video. You can have it, well, let's just go to text and we'll take the GLM 4.6. Let's just ask it, the famous questions. Are there chemicals in the water that are turning the friggin' frogs gay? Okay, let's see here. Already gave me an answer. The claim that chemicals are turning the frogs gay is popular conspiracy theory often cited by Alex Jones. Research has shown that certain chemicals, such as atrazine, can interfere with this stuff. You can have all sorts of fun. What Venice does is lets you, if you want to generate an image, you can say this and say, a gay frog. If you're going to make the thumbnail, you can have, I don't know what it's going to come up with, but you can do all sorts of crazy stuff. You get good at writing the prompts, and well, it is a frog, and it is kind of colorful. A frog wearing a pride flag. Let's see if that can get a little more specific. You're really, really unlimited, and you can do whatever you want, and it's not tracking it, which is good. There you go. There you go. Perfect. Exactly what I like to see. If you want to use AI without fear of handing over your most intimate thoughts to a corporation or the government, you can get 20% off with a pro plan using my link, venice.ai/quartering and code quartering. All right, this other story I had, did you see that Hillary Clinton is selling Epstein merch now?
What a tasteless, I won't say whore, but like kind of, like what a tasteless move to make Epstein related merch. Are you crazy?
Yeah, I mean, I think Candace Owens is that Candace Owens merch thing real? Apparently she put like Shabbat Shalom, Daddy's Home. She's selling merch that says that, which
I don't know if that's real. I haven't seen that.
If that's real, that's fucking
I know
foolish.
that Tucker Carlson released a bunch of like no concept gay
that.
merch, and then a liberal podcast ripped it off because they liked it so much, which is so funny.
Yeah, I saw that. Oh, by the way, Lysander says, if you want a good dinner meal, try the keto casserole. It's pretty pumpin' powerful. Don't ask me. Oh, okay. Well, I don't think I'll be having any of that. And by the way, you should be suggesting that to Melanie, as I don't eat that. General Cal says, I can't help but notice all the people calling Tucker a traitor all stand on the soapbox and demand your children fight for another country. All they have is projection. Again, like, I don't even follow that. So I don't know who's calling him a traitor. I know that Laura Loomer is, okay, but they're always fighting. So it's like not even interesting to me. Rumor has it that Tucker is trying to set up an interview with Iran with the new mini Ayatollah's amputated leg. Yeah, I mean, yeah, this is very on brand for Hillary.
I wouldn't be surprised if he is trying to interview someone in Iran. I mean, this is topical, and he likes to kind of have a bold guest on. Like, that doesn't seem that crazy to me. I'm not offended if people don't like it. It's just I don't need more evidence of like specific allegations against him.
Yeah. I mean, and then her merch is so cringe. Hold me to contempt until the cows come home.
Do you think during when they were prepping for this, she came up with this line, everyone thought it was so funny, and so she just waited for the perfect moment to say it during the deposition?
She had that locked and loaded for sure. Nathan Brilliant says, Meghan needs to be like the old English Empire. The sun needs to never set on the stars and stripes. True. I would think
I read this BuzzFeed article about this merch, and so BuzzFeed, I would assume liberal leaning, and they were like talking about describing it, and they're like, the link said, you asked, we listen, but did anybody ask for this?
Right. Yeah.
She's getting Clinton's getting trash for this from every side, because why would you want to profit of anything related to like the horrors of the Epstein files? But doesn't that make you look worse that you're like so numb to this that you're like, haha, this is my moment. You could, all the money goes to her foundation, like to her PAC. Like, okay, great. So you're using Epstein to politically fundraise?
I might accept it if there was like no smoke at all. And then like, she was like weirdly pulled into this and she had nothing to do with it. But my sister in Christ, your husband was on the island. Like, pictured
You guys are the
on
big
the
names
island.
associated with him. Like,
You're the biggest names attached to Jeffrey Epstein. Not even close. Like, if maybe you were just like, you know, there, it was somebody else's name. Like, it was a different Jeremy Hambly and it was on the Epstein list. Like, I might sell merch, something making fun of that or something like that. But this is a little weird. But here's another thing. Speaking of profiting off stuff, there's a big debate this weekend, I think started by Matt Walsh, about getting rid of monetization on X because X has turned into basically a slop farm. And as fast as I hide or block these channels that are very obviously Indian bots or Pakistani bots, the accounts just keep coming up. On one hand, I'm happy that some people who've chosen to make their career posting on X, they can make some money. On the other hand, it has also incentivized bots. It has. What if the math is like the payout's higher than the cost of bots, and that's why you see all this shit getting boosted to the moon? Like if it costs you a penny a like, but you made 2 pennies per like, you know what? And people are just botting their accounts.
right.
People are butthurt. It's like, well, Matt Walsh is already rich. He's trying to screw us over. I don't know if the problem is monetization so much as, you know, maybe we don't allow Indians and Pakistanis to have monetization, because that's where the overwhelming majority of this shit comes from. And I also think that the X monetization program should have a manual review. Like if your account, like a quality score, basically like Google already has this thing, a quality score. When they look at an ad, like an ad you click on YouTube gets a quality score. And the higher the quality score is, the lower price you pay per click actually. And it looks at stuff like, are people landing on your homepage and staying, or are they bouncing? Because then it'll say, oh, the ad's not relevant to this, whatever. The same for like, it should be for X. Like if people are just spam retweeting you, that shouldn't make any money. Because it's like, it's just so bad. The whole space is just, you know, it's out of control. You know, this one here, like, here's Sabina, tiny boy walks beside his soldier's dad's flag draped coffin. I'm in tears. Well, it's not even real, and you're from fucking India. Like, these posts are getting millions and millions of views. I can't get them off my fucking timeline. And it's out of, like, X is really, yes, it's still the best place for like breaking news. But like, I don't think Matt Walsh's take is that wrong. I just think monetization needs to be like.
Do you have his take in front of you? I'd be curious to just like read it to be clear.
Yes. Because people are like, oh, take the monetization, like, because Matt Walsh famously made a bunch of money. He said he made $1 million off some airplane post. I think he was posting that in jest. But he's saying, like, if they're not going to end monetization program here, which I think they should, at the very least, they need to significantly raise the standard for who can monetize. The point of revenue sharing is that people driving revenue should get a piece of it. But most of these engagement farmers and slot merchants aren't driving revenue. Nobody is coming to X to read their shit. True. If it happens to pop up on your feed, maybe you interact with it, but their content is totally interchangeable, mindless filler. The more you incentivize and reward that kind of content, the more you get. They need to come up with a way to incentivize actual high quality content. If they can't, the whole program should be scrapped. Now, I agree. You know, if you just ban all third worlders, it probably gets better overnight. But that wouldn't, I mean, there are lots of slot merchants in the United States too. And how do you get around VPNs? And do you say people who use VPNs can't monetize? I guess maybe. Yeah. You know, I can't, I have to give my identification to YouTube to get a check. I have to give my identification to Rumble to get a check. So people, when Rumble tried to do that, they're like, well, I don't want to give my ID. It's like, well, everywhere else has to, you know, and maybe that would get, you know, all these Sandeeps who have 700 accounts and like, you know, a bot farm, if they had to give their ID, how many of these accounts would even be around anymore?
Right. I mean, I'm pretty critical of X monetization, largely because it doesn't seem to, it changed the way X was being used, basically. It changed why people were posting, and I think it incentivized, like, you know, I'm fine if you want to post a hot take, but there are definitely people who post things for the rage bait or for the, just to like get the shock clicks or like whatever. And and that bleeds into their personal lives off of X, I'm sure, but also it definitely changes the way information is distributed on X. I think it makes it less accurate. But I agree with you. Like, if there was a way to make X something that you could make some money off of, like, I'm not against it. It just seems like this system's not working. And I don't know.
People
maybe
can subscribe. Like, that's one thing, Matt. Like, people can pay Matt $5 a month if they want to subscribe to him and like have some sort of extra access. But this idea of just spamming out shit and making money is what's destroying YouTube right now. A recent study showed at least 25%. Big India got me. At least 25% of all content on YouTube is AI slop. Think about it. And that's all numbers only growing.
Yeah, I was going to say,
in shorts, it's like
only
40%.
3 years into this nightmare?
In shorts, it's almost 40%, according to the same study. And it's like, man alive. Like, what are you incentivizing? You're really just incentivizing the quickest shortcut to AI slop. And like, you know, Bricksuit didn't like, he said, do you not realize how much of a gatekeeper you're being? No monetization means only those who can independently fund themselves will be able to post here. That's just not true. I think you should have, you know, there should be, I mean, I like Bricksuit. I just disagree with this take. I think X has gotten objectively worse since monetization. Right? Like, I don't think, I would love to debate anybody on that fact. Like, it is objectively worse. I have to sift through unending nonsense, bullshit, AI slop, titty thumbnails, you know, all this stuff just to get to the news. However, I can still basically just go to, oh, what's trending, click on what's trending and see what's going on. So its base function is the same to me, but I use it way less now because I'm just like, I use it to farm shorts, to create my own slop content because that's what YouTube wants. And shorts have become, you know, now I'm back to doing the, whoa, look at this, you know, shorts, which I hate doing, but it's a part of the game. Like, it's a part of the machine that that they're getting what they incentivize now. I don't want to make stupid, lazy shorts, but you know what? Like, my stupid, lazy shorts are getting 500,000 views a day and I barely put any effort in on it.
Yeah.
Why would I just do twice as many of them? Now, they don't pay anything. Like, a short that gets 1 million views might make $30. But if you're doing it, if you're using AI, you can make 500 shorts a day. So now you're making real money, you know, or you can make 50 shorts a day. Now you're making $150 a day if they all go viral. But like, it's wild to me. Like, I think it needs a change. I don't think he's being a gatekeeper here. I really don't. I don't think there's many. I don't think there are many good people who are making a living on X. For every Nick Shirley, there's 100,000 Nandeep Sharias out there. Who
and the people that I know who are making money off of X make more money typically somewhere else, right? Like,
I make about $200 every 2 weeks on X, and it has never once influenced what I post when I post.
Right.
It's just, for me, it's like, oh, I just get this free money. Cool. Like, and I'm thankful for that. But I would give it all up to have better monetization programs, you know, better standards for it.
Yeah. I mean, like, it doesn't sound like Matt Walsh needs YouTube or needs X monetization to.
He's a multimillionaire,
like that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and he works hard. Like, I'm not criticizing him at all in any way, but you know, I think there are people where the several $1,000s they break in does impact their business pretty significantly. So I could understand where having someone else who doesn't need the money the same way be like, and we should change it. Maybe isn't as like, you know, you don't want his opinion. But that being said, like,
I get that.
When you're talking about like, well, it's just like tons of bots or like, I remember, I think it was Caleb Hamner's podcast. There was some girl on it who was like, oh, I'm monetized on X. Like, I just go to the biggest famous people and I just like reply guide them basically. And I was like, that's genius. Like, oh, wow. Like, you had to stick it out for a little while. Like, you've kind of earned your monetization. I get that. Like, you have to.
If she's doing it manually, that's one thing, but now it's all AI.
But it's all AI. Like,
most of my replies I can tell are AI. They like rephrase. They'll be like, the quartering posts an interesting topic here. You know, whether or not to pick up dog poop or wait till spring. What do you guys think? And it's a verified account. So I'm like, this is very obviously an AI account, monetization farming. Now I blocked them out of principle, but it's like.
But if there's 400 of them, like.
It's getting worse every day. It's getting worse every day. It's like.
It reminds me of the movie WALL-E when that like Earth is so filled with trash, they just leave it. You know,
Yeah.
like if it's just full of bots, you got to leave.
Look what happened to Facebook. Facebook is all slop now. Boomers use it because and not all boomers, not the boomers that watch us, but many boomers watch it.
And the boomers.
Well, because they don't know the fucking difference. They see this AI stuff and like my eyes train for it. I would think with a 90% accuracy rate, with a 100% accuracy rate, I can tell if it's slop. With like a 90 to 95% accuracy rate, I can tell if it's AI. There are some times I'll still get fooled. Maybe if somebody really put in the work and really, did the work, but I'm more worried about the slop because it's like, you've got to wade through all this stuff. I don't even see the people I follow ever on X. That was me, Jeremy. You blocked me. Oh, no, JK. Okay. But it's like, if I go to my replies, they'll be very, like, definitely obvious, Jeremy asked this question to Grok. Will he ever, what's going on with that? And it's like, I just don't understand why this. I know why Elon does it because even bots count as monthly active users. But hopefully,
it's no skin off his back, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. He. By the way, shout out Asmongold. I think he's streaming today on Rumble. So shout out to him. But yeah, I think regardless of like whatever your specific beliefs are, I would say that most people agree that this is not great. Like it's just not, something has to change because it's becoming completely useless.
Yeah. I mean, it just doesn't seem like it's, it seems like there's a real cost, right? Like some people are making money off it, but a lot of people are ultimately not engaged with the feed. I think this is, again, it's interesting you bring up Elon Musk because the question, if he was like, I'm the free speech guy and like people are always interested in what his values are, like this is a moment where we have to see like, what is the value? Because if it doesn't hurt your business, like if you're making as much money or not more with the bots or whatever, he doesn't have any incentive to change it. It really comes down to like, what is the philosophical reason to have people conversing on X, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it is still useful to me to find breaking news. And until it becomes not useful for that, then, I'll continue to use it. But I am worried about, the path that it's going on. By the way, we have this liberal planning attack on a military base. What's going on here?
Outside this military base.
Are you, though?
Wish me luck.
Oh, he's just memeing. I don't know.
What is that? It looks
like a parking lot to me. I can't really say it's a military base. But the eyes are, look at the eyes as always, guys. Well, this guy's going to get a visit. That's what's going to happen. He's going to get a visit and he'll be like, oh, why? Why am I getting targeted by Trump? It's like, well, maybe don't make terroristic threats, especially when we had 3 terrorist attacks in the last 2 weeks.
Did you see the article I sent you about the Minneapolis guy?
Oh, yeah. Here, we'll go to that.
Sorry. It's just reminding me of it.
It was, go ahead.
So
take the lead on it.
This guy in Minneapolis, I believe, they just announced that he's being sentenced. He is
is he that guy from the TV show where he has no neck?
I don't know.
The Foreigner Wife show?
I don't know, man. You can't reference pop culture to me. His name is Michael Paul Lewis. He identifies as gay. And last year in March of 2025, he got drunk and called a congresswoman's office. They haven't said who the congresswoman is. I assume she's a Republican because evidently he saw them make some remark or supported some policy that he perceived as being anti-LGBTQ. And he like called and was like, on Monday, I'm booking a flight to DC and I'm going to attack you.
I'm going to murder you. I'm not even joking. Like he went out of his way to say, this isn't a joke. I'm going to murder you. I'm going to get on a flight Monday. I'm going to fucking murder you. That's what he said in a politician's voicemail. Like, my dude.
World? Yeah. Isn't that crazy? So like with the guy that you just showed in this thing, like he's going to get a visit, but that's like, vague enough.
He's going to jail. This guy's going to jail.
This guy's going to jail for this, which he should. His defense was like he has alcohol abuse issues and he was perceing this like because he's a gay man, like unacceptable.
Yeah, not going to fly. I was drunk, officer, when I ran over those kids.
Well,
like it doesn't matter.
We covered a woman calling to is it Montana Congressman Sheehy, his office, and being like, I'm going to kill you. Like she's making threats in a voicemail, which what are you guys doing? Like, why are you this is crazy.
Well, I think they're probably like, they live a life that's like, I mean, he's going to prison, not jail, by the way. Like he's sentenced to 5 months in prison, not jail. Big difference. And you know, he's probably going to have a lot of fun there, I guess. But like now he'll have 5 months to go cold turkey off alcohol. Yeah, that's right, chat.
He has to pay a $5,000 fine too.
$5,500, which he probably doesn't have, you know? So it is so weird.
Think it's good to see, like we're talking about Kristi Noem facing consequences. Like even if you're an alcoholic, you cannot call a congressperson. You shouldn't call anyone and make.
Wait, let me write this down quick.
I know.
Can't call them.
Get the sirens out. I just want everyone to know that alcoholism or being gay is not an excuse to threaten sitting elected officials or anyone. Just don't call people like this. Isn't that crazy? Because the other thing is like, I want to hear.
He fucked up his life too. Like he's gonna have felony.
Don't you want to know if other people in his life are like, oh yeah, he calls and threatens to kill us all the time. We're just not like we're his neighbors or like I'm his
right.
Friend. You know what I mean? Like rough times, but this is really bad.
Well, and it's also good to like, I know it feels like, you know, anytime we get like a pushback against the black pill, like these people do whatever they want and they never get arrested. Well, we're starting to see 9 Antifa members were charged with over 500 years in prison for their ICE facility attack on Friday. You know, these people are losing their jobs. They're fucking up their lives. Sometimes the justice system just takes a little bit of time to work. We don't know what's going to happen. What's going to happen to Don Lemon? These charges have not been dropped. Do I think Don Lemon should go to prison? I think Don Lemon should get the appropriate amount of time, in accordance to the crime.
Right.
What is the crime? What was the last? Let's actually ask Grok here. What's the right way to ask this? What was the sentence for the last person charged for violating what is it called? The SAFE Act? No, what is that law called?
Where you can
chat, bail me out. No, what Don Lemon's charged with. Don Lemon charges. FACE Act. Yeah, FACE Act. Thank you, chat. FACE Act. I want him to get at least the last person charged for violating the FACE Act received 3 years in prison. That's what I want. Don Lemon should get 3 years in prison. And everyone else, the hippie farmer and everyone else who did it should get 3 years in prison too. Not like, J6 where they're like, oh, you trespass. I want to give you 20 years in prison.
We're going to ruin your life in every way imaginable.
Yeah. So 3 years in prison.
You walked past security guards who were holding the doors of the Capitol open and took a picture.
Yeah. 6 months in solitary confinement. Like, no. 4 pro-life activists were convicted in 2026, all facing at least 6 months in prison. So the pro-life activists got charged. So pro-death ones should be too.
Sure, yeah.
Also, like,
do you think he will face charges? That's what I'm always wondering about.
Yes,
I know I'm always like, you
I do.
shouldn't just predict things. You think he will?
Yep. I think he'll be charged. I think this is a big deal. And the FACE Act is something that isn't often violated. And it's a kind of a core thing to this country. This isn't like some obscure law in Missouri that you can't drink orange soda after 8 p.m. This is like a real law meant to protect, people's religious freedoms. So yeah, I mean, it would be a huge black pill if he wasn't,
I mean, and I think it'd be a worse black pill if everyone else who was there gets charged and he doesn't. Because again, that was like when he got charged after everyone. Everyone's like, well, because he's like a celebrity, because he's famous, he doesn't have to face. He gets rights that everyone else doesn't. Like, I think you're right that he needs to face the same consequences that everybody else does, and probably they all need to face consequences, not like a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I mean, there's also he live streamed it. So that should escalate it.
Interesting.
Heather Idoni received 8 months in prison on September 27th. So there's definitely, look, I'm not saying, look, if the guy does
money off his live stream,
of course, yeah, I'm sure it was monetized. So there's another escalator.
isn't that like, oh man.
Yeah. Mustang one says, Don Lemon should go to prison, period. Politics aside, people have grown to take the law as a joke, even those whose job it is to uphold it. Yeah, I agree. Drop the hammer hard, 10 years in prison. Look,
Well, again, this is where I go back to like the Minneapolis guy. Like, again, he was drunk, I guess, but like, we now live in a world where someone is like, this sounds like something that's reasonable to do. Like the fact that Don Lennon was like arguing that he hadn't done anything wrong. He was there as a journalist. He was allowed to do this. Like they do not, so many people operate like basic common sense laws don't apply to them. Like
well,
they
especially
are not
on the
doing
left.
anything wrong because they feel as though they have some sort of moral obligation to do something.
Oh, it's the same with all the ICE people. I was there protecting people. I was ramming cars because of that.
Right.
50715 says, speaking of profile and religious freedom, did you all cover Cruz reposting that MAGA has a Catholic problem? I did not. I saw he was trending, but I didn't know why. Did you see that?
I've read a little bit about it. I don't feel like I know enough, but if you guys are interested in it, I'm happy.
We can talk about it tomorrow with
Yeah,
when
and it's
Melanie's
definitely something
here.
Melanie would probably be interested in too.
Yeah.
So we'll come back tomorrow and we'll cover it.
By the way, Costco launching a new program that aims to make IVF treatment more affordable for couples hoping to start a family. Medications can typically run thousands of dollars out of pocket, but Costco says the program will help cost the price by 80%. Trump RX also did this. I looked this up before the show. Basically, one round, so not including what it costs to go to the doctor, just the prescriptions are $2,500 roughly. Then it costs another $12,000 to $20,000, depending on if you're going to like, I don't know, what kind of insurance does not cover IVF. So, making the drugs slightly more affordable. I know that there are people that have moral problems with IVF. This is a nuanced issue. My position has been clear. I think there's a clear difference between two gay men buying a baby and a husband and wife who can't conceive having a baby via IVF.
Sure.
I think that there are also ways, the people that really understand IVF have a moral problem with, because you fertilize a bunch of eggs. Well, what happens to those eggs?
Right.
Essentially, you're creating life. Now, there are moral ways around that. So if you go create 5 embryos and you implant 5 embryos, you have not aborted anybody. But I do think like two gay men buying an egg from a woman and then making her, their incubator
Renting
for
a
6
surrogate,
months.
yeah, I get that.
That's very different. I think that should be outlawed. But I think if you're married, I don't have any problem with it. Like, I
also
understand the people
assume-
that do, which is fine. But
Yeah. And like, there's some stuff that I can't get, like, Catholics believe there shouldn't be any third parties involved in conception. Can't
Yes,
really do
fair.
DIY.
And I would
IVF.
respect
I
that.
get that.
I would
that.
respect
Like
that too.
I
Yeah.
also get like, I don't know. It's a very complicated issue for a lot of reasons. And I think what is interesting is like with the pro-life argument being like, you have these fertilized embryos, what are you going to do with them? Surely we've advanced science enough where maybe you don't have to fertilize every egg. Maybe you just do one at a time. Like maybe there are other options. We're not in the IVF of the 90s. And to that end, like bringing down the cost of the drugs, I think would be a step towards that. Because what I have always heard, and I'm not an expert on this, but is that one of the reasons that they like, if they collect 12 eggs and they fertilize 10, it's because it's so expensive. They want to get as much out of it as possible. But again, like if you believe life begins exception, I assume you've talked to your spouse and they're like, well, if we get 10, we're going to have a lot of pregnancies, or like I try to have as many as we can. Like
you can choose how many they retrieve too. Like there are more ethical ways to do it. Yeah. If somebody's going in there and fertilizing 20 eggs and flushing 19 down the toilet, I think that's fucked up. Maybe it's something like we need some regulation around it or some guardrails for it. But like, I do... Look, if insurance is paying for trans surgeries, which in some cases it is, but not IVF, I would argue if I had to choose between them,
I would want this over that.
Yeah, you mean married couples who want to have kids, but maybe they can't for whatever reason or another, like that versus two gay men who are going to raise a kid in a suboptimal life. We know factually a suboptimal life. Like I know people get on me for being so hard on Dave Rubin, but like, dude, you're gay. You you're telling me you're biologically gay. Why do you want kids? Like,
Right.
you want to fuck a dude's butthole. That's not how babies are made. Maybe lawyers. But this is like, for me, it's, it has to under Obamacare. Oh, okay. You're talking about the trans surgery. I know it doesn't cover IVF, or I read it does not. That's why it's only for the rich. Like,
well, and
a lot of people can't afford it.
Like, and some insurances will cover like one round, but like,
oh, okay.
A lot of people who go through IVF, it's not one round, right? And also, one round would give you
almost never is.
one kid, twins, maybe triplets. Yeah. Like, if you want to have 2 or 3 children and you are experiencing infertility, like, it will cost you easily $200,000 or more to have multiple children under IVF. Like, and again, like, I'm happy to talk and debate the like nuance, ethical. I think we should openly talk about kind of the moral issues with IVF. Even if you're supportive of it, even if you're against it, because the only way to like work these things out is to discuss them. But in this case, having basically a huge grocery store chain be like, well, we're going to figure out a way to offer IVF drugs at a lower price. To me, the first thing I actually thought of, separate from the IVF conversation, is like, wow, are we experiencing that much infertility that like the millions of Costco customers are like could benefit from this? Because like, it is prohibitively expensive, and also, it's very physically demanding. It's there's lots of like timing. It's not like an easy course at all.
You have to do daily injections. You got to go to the doctor every day. It's very taxing on the woman. I feel like any woman who's, in a committed relationship, who's willing to do that much work to have a kid, you're good by me. 2 gays buying babies, no. Like, that's not what IVF is for. That's not, and I also respect all the religious people's opinions on it. Like, I respect it. I'm not going to argue with people and say, well, this is what God really would have wanted. Like, I'm pretty sure God would not want IVF. Like, I understand that.
I just don't know, right? Like,
I don't know.
It's hard
Hopefully
for me to say.
Ask him one day.
I just feel like it's one of those things that like I actually like hearing both sides of the argument, because I feel like it encourages me to think more critically all the time. It's very difficult to come up with a specific opinion other than like, if you're going to go this route, I hope you do it in a way that preserves as much life as possible and is like as ethical as it can be, Yeah.
By the way, Kat brings up in chat. Yeah. A base moment at the Oscars last night, some actress brought her baby up and like said, like, babies aren't a burden and all this stuff. I was like, Mirrors as a trap. I was like, hell yeah.
I saw that clip, but I didn't recognize the actress. Does chat know who she is?
Yeah, I don't know, chat.
She's blonde. I know that.
That I know too, because I did a short reaction to it. So I was like,
Well, do you know anything about Ballerina Farms?
No.
This is a little bit old, but maybe tomorrow we'll bring up Ballerina Farms, who's the blonde.
I thought it was an actual farm. Okay.
She does own a farm called Ballerina Farms with her husband.
Oh, okay.
And they just announced they're having their 9th kid. And
thank you.
And he's like, I think he's like the son of the JetBlue founder, so he's wealthy anyways. But like, their business is big, they're crunchy, they have a beautiful aesthetic. She's a former ballerina, and the internet freaked out. Like, they were like, irresponsible to have 9 children. You can't even take care of all of them. Like, it's any of the internet's responsibility to take care of her children at all. Like, it was so fascinating to watch people be angry that this woman is opting to have an, particularly large family. But and then to have, that's why when I saw the blonde actress, I was like, is this Hannah Nealman? Is this Ballerina Farms? Why is she at the Oscars? But I just don't know I don't know who the actress is.
Let's see. I'm glad. I knew a gay couple that adopted twin boys, kept flying across the country to visit their mother. Look, there are exceptions to every rule, and I'm sure Dave Rubin is a great father. I don't think gays should be able to buy babies. It's, to me, when you aren't even like, it's like, it's just too much ick for me. The kid is going to grow up in an atypical household. Yes, they're rich, so the kid's never going to have a mother ever. And like, it's just, I don't know. Again, Dave Rubin's kids will probably do much better than my kids ever will. They're going to have more money than, they'll have every opportunity. But I still think kids need a mom.
Yeah, well, I think that the surrogacy industry is really dangerous for both the women involved and.
Remember the story we covered about a whole house full of these Chinese people who are like pumping out
and
babies, and
New York Magazine did a follow up on it. That's very. It's interesting to see the surrogates who were like, I thought I was doing something nice to help a couple have a kid, and it turns out no. And also the kids were being like abused. Like,
and we don't even know, were they being sold? Like, were they being sold to, other Chinese couples because they have a baby in America and they use it as like an anchor? These kids were not being born into families that couldn't have kids and wanted kids. They were being born for other reasons. Right,
exactly. And that's the issue with, I think, surrogacy in particular, which is like, it is very hard to differentiate it, to me, from a form of human trafficking, both the women's womb and the children that they're carrying. And that's where I think that like we have to think more carefully about it. But because, gay couples or whatever depend on it to have biological children, in a lot of cases, it becomes taboo to talk about it. It becomes like you're critical of things that.
Well, just do.
The goal is just to protect children, women and children, right? Like that should be the goal.
This last story I have was: did you see this gunfire that broke out at spring break? Like
in Florida, I saw this article that there were like 5 different beaches that were affected by gunfire or something.
I think like, and by the way, I'm sure that these are probably locals that are. I mean, because it's hard to travel with a gun. But like these scenes of everyone running for their lives and like we used to live in a society, all right? This is where people used to go get the clap, but they weren't getting shot. Like
lots of tans on this beach, Jeremy.
Very tan. Well, how very noticing of you. Yeah, I mean,
I thought you wanted me to pay attention.
Well, you did pay attention, and like here we go again, like. All these people
Lauren
on the
Jet,
beach.
all those people on the beach, no one in the water.
Yeah, exactly. Like the blatant and rampant racism in these posts and comments is just sad. Well, stop shooting people. I guarantee you.
I think it's like racially, like no one wants anybody shot. No one wants like a public gunfire regardless.
4 different shootings and massively unruly crowds at Daytona Beach this weekend. 4. It wasn't immediately clear what sparked it. I have a guess. Now I haven't seen any arrests, but I have a feeling. Yeah, now there's some 4 people in the water. I have a feeling it's going to be them again, boo boo. Like this is not a white crime. Going to parties and shooting people. Like that's not a white crime. Child porn. Okay, that's a white crime. Well, I mean, if you hear of a pedophile, close your eyes. Do you see a black guy?
I'm not going to accept Hollywood's terrible.
Okay, fine. All right, how about embezzlement? Embezzlement is a white crime. How about that? Yeah. That's better. Embezzlement, when they were convicted of embezzling, I'm like, white person. Although now it might be a Somali. Yeah.
Or BLM. I feel like they're
BLM.
Some diversity there.
They're catching up. Yeah. It's crazy that that we just can't have anything nice anymore. Like I have said this before, and I know it's cowardly. When I consider going into big crowds or whatever like that, this shit is on my mind now. It never used to be. It never used to be on my mind, but now it's like, is it a large, unregulated group of people? I'm going to skip that. Will I go to a concert where there's a lot of security? Yeah, they haven't taken that from me yet. But what the fuck? Black uncles who make so many black uncles who are gay, I assume you mean, make so many I'm confused. Look, if you see a black guy when I say embezzlement, that's good. That's very diverse of you. Florida's fatigue.
Yeah, it doesn't happen in The Office. There's like a guy who gets hired who's previously convicted of.
Yes. Yeah.
You guys might know. Yeah.
Yeah. There was. Yeah. There was a guy that got hired that was a black guy, but he was not. He was in prison, but it was not for.
I think it was for embezzlement.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe that.
I think that was because at first they're scared because they're getting compensated for hiring a formal.
Oh yeah, and then Michael puts on the do-rag. Yo, what's up, mod? And then there's that's a classic episode. Look, if somebody said they were convicted of stealing money from elderly people through phone scams, close your eyes. Who do you smell? There's curry crimes, there's white crimes, there's all sorts of stuff like that.
I think what's hard is like when you look at pictures like this and setting aside any kind of like racial observation or whatever, you know, a huge crowd that ultimately ends in gunfire makes it so you are like, we are just like doom pilling, except it's not doom pilling because it's really happening. And so it's that balance of being like, I want there to be more rules and I want more rules doesn't even cover it. Like I want it to be safer. I want young people to be able to go on spring break and hang out and do whatever.
This never happened when I was young. It's, spring break. You never heard about it. It never happened 20 years ago.
Right. And so like, if it's increasingly common, how do we solve this issue? And I feel like people are, to circle all the way back, uncomfortable talking about it because it might have racial overtones, and that like it becomes this like
we can't
unsolvable
have that,
thing.
Hannah Claire.
No, especially because like, but that would mean anyone of that racial group who's involved is in danger of this issue. So you're not protecting them, you're protecting your own feelings.
Yeah, and that's that's exactly it, right? Like I think the world is done with that kind of, especially with like the Somali crap. It's like, shout out to our 7 black viewers, but like when we were talking about the Somali community, you know who already knew about them? Black people.
Somalis? Oh, okay.
No, black people knew, like American blacks. American blacks knew about the Somalis for the last 20 years. Yeah. And like, I remember reading a lot of the comments like, y'all just found out about this now? Like, black people knew about Somalis long before white people did. And there's a reason for that, but I don't want to like explain exactly why that.
Trump gained tremendously among black men, often because he talked about illegal immigration, which they were like, yeah, we agree. We don't like this either. Like, this is economically bad for us specifically. So I think that there's this like misunderstanding of how people, because Democrats are like, we're the party of diversity and people of color. They make people think that it's a blanket like acceptance of every Democratic policy, when I don't think that's true. I think there's a lot more nuance, or at least a lot more like and tension between different cultural groups that end up in the same cities.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to kick it over to Viva Fry. He's talking about the SAVE Act, which is apparently on life support at this point. We could use a win. America could use a win, boys and girls in Congress. So maybe do your job. Let the people know where they can find your content. Are you putting out any content while you're on staycation?
I should have a video up this week, and I'm hoping to pick up the pace a little bit here. You guys can find my content on Rumble and YouTube. It's Hannah Claire B in both places. I'm also on X, Hannah Claire B as well, and I'm on Instagram, hannahclaire.b. And come back tomorrow for Estrocast, because it's one of the 2 best days of the week.
Yes, it is the best Estrocast. We're live again tomorrow at 2 Eastern. See you guys all out there. I got to go shovel my driveway again. And
you got snow.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I hope your flight back doesn't have a 4 to 20 hour wait in TSA. I saw some pictures. I think they were in Austin. They were like backed up into the parking garage this morning. It's like, maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow too, because that's pretty wild. I feel like these people walking off their government jobs, they get a lot of hate, but it's like, hey man, if you're not going to pay them, why should they still show up for work?
That will seem the craziest thing to me, Like,
yeah.
I also like to be.
You
paid
guys
for
are
my work.
abandoning us. It's like, dude, anybody who's saying that, the first day you had to work all day, and they were like, hey, we'll pay you someday. Like they're not. You still got to pay your bills now. Right. So it's actually crazy. All right, everyone, go and say hi to Viva. Tell him he's a lucky bowler.